Hi, I'm Juliana. I never thought I'd be the type of person to block my family's numbers, but life has a way of pushing you to your limits. 3 months ago, I was sitting at my favorite coffee shop when my phone lit up with my mother's name. Juliana, darling, how's my successful daughter? My mother's voice rang through the speaker, that familiar tone that always preceded a request. I'm fine, Mom. Just working on some client proposals. What's up? I stirred my coffee, already sensing what was coming. Well, you know your sister Marissa is getting married in June, right? Such a beautiful venue they've picked. The Bellamy Gardens. Costs a fortune these days to have a proper wedding. I sighed. Yes, you mentioned it last week. And the week before. The thing is, sweetie, her voice dropped to that conspiratorial whisper. They're having some financial difficulties. Your father and I have already contributed what we can, but it's not enough for the wedding Marissa deserves. And? My stomach tightened. Well, you're doing so well with that fancy job of yours. All that money and just you to spend it on. We were thinking, your sister only gets married once? Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could help fund the rest of the wedding? Maybe cover the catering and photography? It's only about $20,000. The spoon I'd been fidgeting with clattered against the ceramic mug. 20,000. Mom, it's nothing to someone like you. You just got that big promotion. Besides, what else are you saving for? You're not even dating anyone serious. My friend Zoe, who'd been sitting across from me pretending not to listen, raised her eyebrows. Mom, I can't just hand over $20,000. I have my own financial goals. Maybe I could contribute 1,000 or 1,000. That won't even cover the flowers. Marissa is your sister. This is what family does. I need to think about it. We can talk later. After hanging up, Zoe leaned forward. What was that about? My mom wants me to pay for half my sister's wedding. $20,000. Are you kidding me? That's insane. What did your sister say about this? Knowing Marissa, she probably put Mom up to asking. She's always been the favorite, and I've always been the family ATM since I started making good money. And your dad? What does he think? He'll back whatever Mom says. He always does. I rubbed my temples, feeling a headache brewing. My phone buzzed again. A text from Marissa. Mom told you about the wedding situation, right? We really need your help. I've already put deposits down expecting your contribution. Don't let me down. Family first. Unbelievable, I muttered, showing Zoe the message. They're already spending your money without asking you? That's next level, Zoe said, shaking her head. Later that evening, my phone rang again. This time, it was my father. Juliana, your mother told me you're being difficult about helping your sister. I'm not being difficult, Dad. I just can't afford to give away $20,000 right now. Can't afford? Don't be ridiculous. You have that fancy apartment and take those expensive vacations. Your sister needs this. You know she's always struggled while everything came easy to you? Easy? I worked 3 jobs through college and took out loans. Well, Marissa is different. She's more sensitive. This wedding means everything to her. Your mother is very upset with you right now. As I hung up, another text came through from my sister. Mom's crying because of you. Thanks a lot. You always have to make everything about you, don't you? That was the moment I realized something needed to change. The next day, I met my longtime mentor and former boss, Eleanor, for lunch. Eleanor had always been straight with me, which is exactly what I needed. They want you to pay for what? Eleanor set down her fork, her expression incredulous. $20,000 for my sister's wedding, and they're acting like I'm the villain for hesitating. Have they always been like this with money? I thought back through the years. Yes, now that you mention it. When I got my first job after college, Mom called asking for a little help with the mortgage. Then it was Marissa's car repairs. Then Dad's medical bills that insurance would have covered if they'd filed the paperwork correctly. And you always said yes? Usually. It started small. A few hundred here, 1,000 there. And now it's 20,000. Eleanor's tone wasn't judgmental, just matter of fact. I feel so stupid. Not stupid. Conditioned. There's a difference, Eleanor said kindly. Tell me, what happens when you say no? Guilt trips? Silent treatment? Mom cries? Dad gets stern? Marissa sends nasty texts. Then everyone in the extended family somehow finds out I'm being selfish. My phone buzzed. It was my aunt. Your mother told me you're refusing to help Marissa. I raised you better than that. See? Right on cue. I showed Eleanor the message. Juliana, do you know what financial abuse is? That's when someone steals from you, right? It's broader than that. It's when family members or partners feel entitled to your money, use emotional manipulation to extract it, and punish you when you refuse. Eleanor leaned forward. You've worked incredibly hard to get where you are. Would your family do the same for you? Honestly, no. When I needed help with grad school applications, Mom said she was too busy planning Marissa's college graduation party. When I was between apartments, they said they didn't have room for me to stay, even though they have a 4-bedroom house and it's just them. You need to set boundaries. How? They don't listen. Sometimes the only boundary that works is distance. Not forever, but until they can respect your limits. That evening, I received 5 more texts from various family members. My cousin Ryan, however, sent a different message. Hey G, just checking in. The family group chat is blowing up about wedding drama. You okay? I called him immediately. Ryan, what are they saying? Nothing worth repeating. But listen, I know how they can be. My mom's the same way. It's why I moved 3 states away. Sometimes family takes advantage because they know they can. I just don't understand why I'm always expected to bail everyone out. Because you do it. They know you'll cave if they pressure you enough. His words stung with truth. So what do I do? What would you tell a friend in your situation? I thought about it. I'd tell them they're being taken advantage of and need to stand up for themselves. Exactly. So why is it different when it's you? That night, I wrote down every financial request my family had made over the past 5 years. The total made me physically ill. I decided to have one final conversation before making any decisions. I invited my parents and Marissa to dinner at a neutral restaurant, hoping a public setting might keep emotions in check. I wanted to talk about this wedding funding request, I said after we'd ordered. Mom immediately brightened. Oh, have you decided how much you're contributing? The venue needs the next payment by Friday. I haven't agreed to contribute anything yet, I said carefully. $20,000 is a lot of money. Marissa rolled her eyes. Here we go again. Little Miss Successful can't help her only sister have a nice wedding. It's not about being unwilling to help. It's about the assumption that I would pay, without even discussing it with me first. Dad leaned forward. Juliana, we raised you. Put a roof over your head, clothes on your back. Is it so wrong to expect something in return? I'm grateful for everything you did for me growing up, but that was your responsibility as parents. It doesn't mean I owe you unlimited financial support as an adult. Mom's eyes welled up. I can't believe how selfish you've become. What happened to my sweet little girl? I'm not being selfish, Mom. I've helped many times before, but this is different. This is expecting me to fund a lifestyle choice. Marissa slammed her hand on the table. A lifestyle choice? It's my wedding, the happiest day of my life. Don't you want me to be happy? Of course I want you to be happy, but why not plan a wedding you can afford? Because I deserve the best. Marissa's voice rose, drawing glances from nearby diners. You just want to see me fail. You've always been jealous of me. That's ridiculous, Mom cut in. We've already told everyone about the venue and the catering. We can't back out now. We'd be humiliated. So you made promises based on my money without asking me? We didn't think you'd be so difficult about it, Dad said. Your sister needs this. Needs? No one needs a $20,000 wedding contribution. Marissa's eyes narrowed. If you don't help, I'll make sure the entire family knows what kind of person you really are. What kind of person am I, Marissa? A selfish, cold-hearted... That's enough, I interrupted, surprising myself with my firmness. I've made my decision. I can give you $1,000 as a wedding gift. That's my final offer. Mom gasped like I'd suggested canceling Christmas. $1,000? That's insulting. It's a generous gift, actually. If that's all you're offering, don't bother coming to the wedding, Marissa spat. Marissa? Dad looked shocked. I mean it. If she doesn't help properly, she's not welcome. I stood up slowly. I think this conversation is over. If you walk away now, Mom said, her voice low and threatening, don't expect things to ever be the same between us. I looked at their faces. Mom's manipulation, Dad's disappointment, Marissa's entitlement. A strange calm settled over me. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. As I turned to leave, Marissa called after me, her voice breaking slightly. You know what? I've always been jealous of you. Everyone talks about how smart and successful you are. For once, I wanted something better than you. Is that so wrong? I paused, surprised by her honesty. Marissa, this isn't a competition. I would have happily helped you celebrate in a way that didn't put anyone in financial strain. But it wouldn't have been perfect, she whispered. Perfect is an illusion that's costing you real relationships, I replied, softer now. Think about that. Dad stood up, caught between his daughters. Juliana, please, we can work something out. I've spent years working things out, Dad. Years compromising my financial security for everyone else's wants. Not needs, wants. I'm done. Mom's face hardened. After everything we've sacrificed for you. What exactly have you sacrificed for me lately? I asked, genuinely curious. The silence that followed was answer enough. The next morning, after a mostly sleepless night, I called my therapist, Dr. Torres, for an emergency session. You set a boundary, she said after I explained what happened. How does that feel? Terrifying, liberating, overwhelming. They've been calling and texting nonstop. What are they saying? Everything from how could you do this to us, to you're dead to me, to we can work this out if you reconsider. And how are you responding? I'm not yet. I needed to talk to you first. Dr. Torres nodded. Sometimes temporary distance is necessary when boundaries aren't respected. What do you think you need right now? Peace. Space to think clearly without their voices in my head. That's valid. Setting boundaries isn't about punishment. It's about self-protection. The hardest part, I admitted, is the doubt. Am I overreacting? Am I the bad guy here? My whole life I've been told that family comes first, no matter what. Family should come first, Dr. Torres agreed. But that applies to them too. Are they putting you first? Is your well-being a priority to them? I thought about that. No, my function is more important than my feelings. Exactly. Healthy families support each other mutually, not one-directionally. She leaned forward. Tell me, what would you do with that $20,000 if you kept it? The question caught me off guard. I'm saving for a down payment on a small house, and I want to take some professional certification courses. Maybe start a small side business eventually. Those are meaningful goals that build your future. You're allowed to prioritize them. But what if they never forgive me? That's the risk with boundaries. Not everyone will respect them. But ask yourself, is a relationship that requires you to continually sacrifice your well-being really one worth preserving in its current form? After our session, I made my decision. I texted Ryan. I need some time away from the family drama. Can you let people know I'm okay but need space? Then I blocked my parents' and Marissa's numbers. Not permanently, but for now. I also muted the family group chat and set up email filters. The silence was strange at first, unsettling. Then gradually, peaceful. 2 weeks later, I met Zoe for coffee at our usual spot. How's the family silence going? She asked. It's clarifying. I didn't realize how much of my energy went into managing their expectations and demands. Have you heard anything through the grapevine? Ryan says Marissa scaled back the wedding plans. Apparently, she found a more affordable venue. Mom's telling everyone I abandoned the family, but some relatives are starting to question her version of events. And how do you feel about all that? I considered the question carefully. Less responsible for their problems. I spent years thinking I had to fix everything. be everything. Now I'm learning who I am without that burden. Will you unblock them eventually? Yes, but not until I'm strong enough to maintain my boundaries. Dr. Torres is helping me practice responses for when I do. I'm proud of you, G. This couldn't have been easy. It wasn't. It still isn't. But for the first time in my adult life, I feel like I'm choosing my path instead of just responding to their emergencies. 1 month after setting my boundary, I took a weekend trip to the mountains, something I'd always wanted to do but never prioritized. I hiked to a summit overlooking a vast valley, the world spreading out beneath me in shades of green and gold. I took a photo of myself, smiling, genuinely happy. That night in my cabin, I wrote in my journal about the day's adventures and realized something profound. I couldn't remember the last time I'd done something purely for my own joy. My life had become so consumed with meeting others' expectations and demands that I'd forgotten how to listen to my own wants and needs. The following week, I received an invitation to my cousin Ryan's graduation party. I knew my family would be there. Are you going to go? Eleanor asked when we met for our monthly lunch. I think so. It's time to test these new boundaries in person. What's your strategy? Short, friendly interactions. No discussions about money. If they bring up the wedding, I change the subject or walk away. If they push, I leave. Eleanor smiled. You've come a long way. I have, haven't I? I realized with surprise. 6 months ago, I would have written a check just to keep the peace. And now? Now I understand that real peace doesn't come from capitulation. It comes from mutual respect. That evening, I received an email from my father, the one channel I hadn't blocked. Juliana, I've been doing some thinking. While I still believe families should support each other, perhaps we've relied on you too much. When you're ready to talk, I'd like to listen. No pressure about the wedding money. Dad. It wasn't an apology exactly, but it was something. A small acknowledgement that perhaps boundaries weren't such a terrible thing after all. I closed my laptop without responding. There would be time for that conversation later when I was ready. On my terms, not theirs. For now, I was learning an important lesson. Sometimes the healthiest love we can offer to others and to ourselves comes wrapped in the word no.